You know, in the NFL, you've got your dynasties, and then you've got your teams that just can't seem to get out of their own way. But what about a team that's kind of both? This is the story of the Minnesota Vikings, a franchise that is, believe it or not, one of the winningest teams in football, but they're still searching for that final win.
I mean, seriously, how does a team manage to be so good for so long and yet never, ever win the big one? The Vikings' history is this wild ride of incredible success and just brutal, heartbreaking defeat. It's a story of getting so close so many times that it's become who they are. So to really get what's going on here, you gotta look at the numbers. Because on paper, when you just look at the stats, the Vikings are, without a doubt, one of the most successful franchises in the entire league.
And the contrast is just staggering. Look at this. They have one of the highest winning percentages of all time. More trips to the playoffs and more division titles than any other team that hasn't won a Super Bowl. They're always good, and yet 0 championships. 4 trips to the Super Bowl, 4 losses. It's like a statistical glitch, a weird anomaly that's just been haunting this team for over 60 years. All right, so where did this all start? Well, the team's identity, this whole vibe, was baked in right from day one. It's deeply connected to the culture of Minnesota, and man, they started with a bang.
So they get the franchise in 1960, and they waste no time making some noise. In their very first game, this rookie quarterback, a guy named Fran Tarkenton, comes off the bench and leads this shocking upset over the powerhouse Chicago Bears. But the real game changer? He arrived in 1967, the legendary stone-faced coach, Bud Grant.
And this whole Viking thing, that was no accident. The name, the purple and gold colors, that awesome horned helmet, it was all a direct shout out to the huge Scandinavian American community in Minnesota. This wasn't just another football team. It was a reflection of the people there.
And under Bud Grant, the Vikings became a powerhouse almost overnight. He built the team around this absolutely ferocious defense that earned one of the greatest nicknames in sports history, the Purple People Eaters. I mean, come on. Led by Hall of Famers like Alan Page and Carl Eller, they just terrified offenses. And in 1969, they actually won the final NFL championship right before the big merger with the AFL.
That championship was their ticket to this brand new game everyone was talking about, the Super Bowl. And this, right here, is where the paradox, the legend of the Vikings really begins. It's a decade of pure dominance that led to 4 absolutely crushing heartbreaks.
Throughout the 1970s, the Vikings were a full-blown dynasty. They made it to the Super Bowl 4 times. 4! Just wrap your head around that for a second. 4 shots at glory in just 8 years.
And the result? Well, they lost every single one. 4 trips to the biggest stage in sports and 4 losses. This is what cemented their reputation as the team that could climb the entire mountain but could never, ever plant the flag at the top. You see, that legendary defense could dismantle anyone during the season. They were a buzzsaw. But in Super Bowls 4, 8, 9, and IX, they just couldn't seal the deal. This string of losses became the defining story of the franchise for decades to come.
But the story is far from over. Because this pattern, this roller coaster of amazing highs and gut-wrenching lows, it just kept on going, creating new legends and, you guessed it, new kinds of heartbreak for a whole new generation of fans.
So the team had to evolve, right? The 70s were all about that brutal defense, but by the time we get to the late 90s, oh man, it was a completely different story. Led by guys like Chris Carter and this electrifying rookie named Randy Moss, the Vikings built one of the most explosive offenses the league had ever seen. They were winning, just in a totally new, spectacular way.
And if you want one season that perfectly captures this whole modern Vikings thing, it's 1998. They went 15-1, they shattered the NFL scoring record, and get this, their kicker, Gary Anderson, had a perfect season. Hadn't missed a single kick all year long. They were unstoppable, until he missed a 38-yard field goal in the NFC Championship game, a kick that would have sent them to the Super Bowl. They lost in overtime. I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
And that's the thing, the incredible talent just never stopped coming. In 2012, running back Adrian Peterson had one of the greatest seasons ever, rushing for almost 2,100 yards, just 8 yards short of the all-time record, and basically carried the team to the playoffs on his back. But again, that individual greatness just didn't translate to the ultimate team success.
And then, there is this, the Minneapolis Miracle,
an impossible last-second 61-yard touchdown to win a playoff game as time expired. It was a moment of just pure unfiltered joy. It was a high so incredibly high, it could only really happen to a team and a fan base that knows what it's like to feel the absolute lowest of lows.
So, through all of this, all the wins, all the Hall of Famers, all the near misses, something really unique has been forged. A culture that's shared between the team and its fans that is just unshakable. And right at the center of it all is the Skol Chant. It comes from a Scandinavian word that basically means cheers. It started way back in 1961, and now it's become this thunderous war cry. You hear the drum beat and thousands of fans clap in unison. It's a ritual that connects every single fan from every generation.
And that loyalty, man, it is just relentless. These fans have packed every stadium, from the freezing cold bleachers of the old Met Stadium to the incredible modern U.S. Bank Stadium. This bond, it's been forged through decades of shared hope and shared heartbreak, and it's the one true constant for this franchise.
So here we are. After all the division titles, the legendary players, the miracles, and the misfires, the question is still out there. For a team and a fan base that have been through it all and just keep coming back, you have to wonder, is a Super Bowl trophy finally on the horizon?